Okay, my friends, to continue with our Shiism session. So, again and again, Ali was sort of put aside as far as succession to the Prophet is concerned. Abu Bakr was the first. He ruled for two years. Omar, then came Omar. He ruled for 10 years, put 10 and 2 together. Then came Osman. And this Osman, as we will see in our genealogical chart, belonged not to the clan of Hashem, from which the Prophet Muhammad and Ali came, but to the clan of Umayyah, right? Which were the ones who were very, very powerful. The clan of Hashem was powerful, but not as powerful as the clan of Umayyah in Mecca. They were rich, they were powerful, they had their base in Syria, actually, the clan of Umayyah, and they had the control of the Meccan trade under their hands, right? So this business of the Muslims against the Meccans is the business of the newly arriving sort of trade company, if you will, into you know into in Mecca, ne- against the clan of Umayyah, which is the powerful clan and has the trade under its control, right? So a number of things happened during the rule of the first four rightly guided caliph or Rashidun caliphs, right? To begin with, we will talk about this later on. There was a first wave of conquest, and we'll talk about that, right? But the most important of the events that takes place, right, is that of the first civil war amongst the Muslim community itself, right? Amongst the rising Muslim community itself, it has the first civil war. So, what is the first civil war all about, right? So, at the end of the caliphate of Osman, Osman is murdered in 656, right? By hello, I don't know, it's not important by whom, but he's murdered, right? He's murdered, and on the wake of his murder, Ali takes up the caliphate, right? After Osman, right? So Ali, therefore, is and Osman, as we will see, as I told you, is a very important member of the Umayyah clan, right? Uh, so Ali, who is from the clan of Hashem, takes over on the basis of the fact that he's, now it is his time. Finally, he is the blood relative of the Prophet Muhammad, right? So and So Osman, right? And Osman dies. So what happens? Muawiyah, Ali takes up the caliphate, but Muawiyah, who's sitting here in Damascus, he says, wait a minute. They killed my cousin, and you are implicated in this crime because you're taking over the caliphate from the Umayyad clan, right? In fact, because Osman was an Umayyad, now it is our time to rule, and because we are cousins with him, therefore I, Muawiyah, right, have the right to rule, and not you, Ali, right? I am more legitimate in this war. So then you see that the first civil war of the Muslims takes place, and that is called the fitna, the first civil war or fitna. This first civil war takes 3 years, and it is between Muawiyah and the Syrian forces and and Ali and his forces. Now, this is very important. Look at this, my friends. Right. So now I want you to look at the places where the war takes this war takes place. On the one hand, right, Muawiyah sends a contingent of his army to Yemen. Who is in Yemen now, meanwhile, my friends? Right? Sassanians are in Yemen, right? Are in Yemen. So Muawiyah basically makes war against the Sassanians, or is, you see, we don't know the details of this, right? It has to be actually researched. This is uncharted territory, yeah, because the conquest of Yemen has not been talked about that much, right? But anyway, so this is one place that he goes, i.e., an important um, end of trade from Syria, right? Sort of the destination of trade from Syria. He goes to Yemen, and then where they fight are on these trade routes, on the trade centers, actually. Yeah, you see Ainatam, Ambar, Hit, all of these, right, are trade centers, right? And this battle is the main battle that takes place, right, between the forces of Muawiyah and the forces of Ali at Siffin at 658, right? 658. So at this time, right, they start fighting, and then at some point they say, okay, let's come to a truce, right? And Ali agrees to a truce. And the person who is chosen to be the arbitrator between the clan of Umayyah and the clan of Hashem, right, is someone who is sympathetic to the claim of the Umayyads, and therefore rules in favor of the claim of the Umayyads to succession to the caliphate, right? But a group of people who are from among the followers of Ali and within his camp, they say, no, you should, they said, no, you should not have agreed to arbitration, because we had the just claim to begin with, right? We had the just claim, and they are the ones who are in the camp of injustice, right? They secede, right? They go out of the community, right? And they secede. In Arabic, it is called kharaja, right? Meaning those who seceded, meaning to secede, right? And the group who seceded came to be known as Khawarij, those who seceded. Okay, my friends. Sorry. Okay, as the Khawarij, which means secede. cedars, my friends. Right? Okay. So, but what you have to notice, and you have to take my word for it because I have been working on these things. I'm, in my book that I have not talked about yet. But anyway, you see that all the places that they're fighting about are fighting over basically is and this is Sifin, right? And all the bad they're on the trade routes, right? Just take my word for it, okay, my friends. So this is the first civil war, first civil war or fitna, right? Fitna of the Muslim community. Incidentally, the Palestinians to this day call the Israelis and their occupation as the fitna, right? So it's a good word to know, my friends. So this was the first civil war that took place. So Muawiyah rules from Damascus, right, like a king, right, from 661 to 680, right, the rule of Muawiyah. Right, 661 to 680, right? So, and at the time that he wants to, he's about to die, he says, oh, well, the caliphate should remain, in my family, so I am going to appoint my son Yazid, right, as the next successor, as my successor to the caliphate. So Muawiyah, who becomes the first caliph of the Umayyad dynasty, and we're going to see their genealogy, Muawiyah decides to have his son Yazid as his successor. But so Ali, meanwhile, the family of Ali, who has been murdered, Ali is murdered by one of the Khawarij, right? Ali is murdered by one of the Khawarij. Muawiyah takes his rule. He rules from 661 to 680, and then at 680 he wants to put Yazid at his as his successor. But meanwhile, the family of the martyred Ali, right, like the martyred Osman, so two of the rightly guided caliphs are martyred, okay, my friends. Actually, three of them, if you count Omar also, because he's also murdered, right, by an Iranian. At any rate, Ali, who had married the Prophet's daughter, remember Fatima, right? From him, he has two sons. They have two sons. One is Hassan and one is Hussein. Hassan abdicates. He says, I don't want to get involved in these in these succession wars, leave me alone. I'm going to be rich and I'm going to live my life, right? Hussein, on the other hand, says, wait a minute, Muawiyah. I am, as the son of Ali, right? I am the most sort of legible for most legitimate candidate, candidate for the for the for the for the caliphate, right? I mean, this is the Battle of Siffin. You see where Siffin is, my friends, right? Ali and his forces come from Kufa, and Muawiyah comes from Damascus. and they meet halfway, right? Okay, so this is the Battle of Siffin. So the Second Civil War, right, following the death of Muawiyah in 680, lasts actually for 12 years, for about 12 years, right? The war involved, right, Hussein ibn Ali, Hussein the son of Ali. This ibn is the shorthand for ibn, meaning the son of, right? And bint in Arabic, my friends, means the daughter of. I mean, this is a small course in Arabic as well, so for those of you who don't know the language, no, I'm just kidding. But it's important for those of you who don't know the language to get, as I said before, to get used to foreign names. Anyway, along with why does it take 12 years? Because there are other contenders to power with whom we are not going to be dealing with, and each one of them had parts of the regions under their control, right? uh, okay. And this is the second civil war and the second fitna, right? Who comes, okay, this is the second civil war. What happens at the second civil war, which takes place at Karbala in 680, right? Right after Muawiyah dies, between Yazid and Hussein, is that according to the tradition, Hussein and 72 of his followers, right, are murdered. His army is not given any water, so they're dying of thirst. You know, it is a war that is the penultimate sort of representative of evil. And the Umayyads are the evils, right? And between the forces of evil and the forces of good, namely the Shiites. The Shiites, Shia literally means the way of. So those who follow the way of Shi'at al-Ali, right? The way of Ali and the way of Prophet and his family. So this Battle of Karbala at 680 becomes a very, very important symbolic sort of rendition of the forces of evil against the forces of good. Now, the Islamic Republic of Iran, right, whenever is attacked by a foreign or enemy, he calls them the forces of evil, right? The forces of evil. So this becomes an, a major commemoration of this battle and the murder of Hussein and 72 of his followers is supposedly sort of commemorated after his death, after Hussein's murder at the Battle of Karbala, thenceforth. We know that actually this commemoration starts in the medieval period, sometime in the medieval period, actually. Okay, so this becomes the second civil war, and this created the Sunni Shi'i split, and this is how we get it depicted in Islam Muslim art, right, in later centuries, here we have Ali and his two sons, Hassan and Hussein. This is the Shiite rendition, and giving oath of allegiance to Abu Bakr and the Prophet Muhammad, which we cannot see being accompanied by angels, and this is Angel Gabriel, and Abu Bakr, Omar, and Osman. This is the Sunni rendition of it, right? This is the Sunni depiction, right? And there starts the sort of Sunni Shi'i schisms, right? Another important event takes place besides the creation of the Sunni Shi'i schism during the period of the rightly guided caliphs and afterwards. Besides that, another important event that takes place is the conquest of the territories later on by the great so-called Arab conquest, and we will talk about that in a different sort of session, okay? But meanwhile, I just want you to I want to go a little bit into this genealogy of Quraysh, right? So we see, my friends, that Quraysh, Abd Manaf, Abd Shams, Abd Hashim. Abd Shams give rise to the clan of Umayyah, right? And Umayyah, from Umayyah you have you have Osman, then you have Muawiyah, and then you have early Umayyad caliphs, and we will see that, right? But from Hashim, you have Abdul Muttalib, and then Abdul Muttalib has Abu Talib, Abdullah the father, and Al Abbas, right? From Prophet Muhammad's daughter and Ali comes Hassan and Hussein, right? And then you see from Ali and a different wife, a Hanafi woman, comes Muhammad ibn Hanafiya, and we will talk about that later. But anyway, from the line of Ali and Fatima comes your 12er Shi'is, which is the sort of quote-unquote orthodox sort of Shi'is, where they trace the imams of the community from the children of Hussein, right? And you see the fourth Imam Ali Zainul Abidin, you see the fifth Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, you see the sixth Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, and then you see again the community splitting. One follows the Ismaili, Ismail, one son of Ja'far al-Sadiq, and these lead to Ismaili Shiism, the caliph of which is living to this day, right? And they're a very wealthy community. This Agha Khan sort of readings that I gave you, Agha Khan is supposed to be the current imam of the Ismailis, right? And they have done extremely positive things for the learning of not only Muslim community but everybody else in their Khan Academy, right? Khan Academy, and you can check it out, my friends. Khan Academy, a legitimate source of information, right? So anyway, so on the sixth Imam changes, and these became the Seveners because they follow Ismail, right? And those who follow Musa, the seventh Imam, right, become known as 12ers, right? So Musa leads to Ali, leads to Taqi, leads to Hadi, leads to Hassan, and finally leads to the Mahdi, uh, which which basically means Messiah. Yeah, he exactly means Messiah. He has gone into occultation, right? Into hiding, a lesser hiding, where after which he has some few sort of representatives of him, and then a greater hiding where there is no representative, there is no Mahdi until the day of judgment. When he will come and set everything straight, right? So, okay, so this is the Seveners and the Twelver sort of schism of the Shiites, but you see that at the fifth Imam, right? Another schism takes place, and that is the Fiver version of Shiism, which is called Zaydism, and that is more prevalent in Yemen, right? And so they create three branches of the of Shiism: the Fivers, the Seveners, and the Twelvers. Right. This is the Shiite genealogy. Right. So now, but the sort of Sunni genealogy, i.e., the genealogy that the community is supposed to have accepted, the greater community, as the Ummah, right? Community. This is a very important word in Islamic parlance, my friends. Ummah, community, right? And they said that, okay, after Muawiyah, there comes Yazid, because Hussein, at Karbala, the Shiites lose, right? Then comes Hussein, and there comes Yazid, therefore, and then Muawiyah the second, and this is the Sufyanid branch. I don't need you to know, but for your information, Sufyanid's branch. But then the Sufyanid's branch sort of is ended, and the Marwanid branch takes over, right? And then you see their caliphs, the caliphs of the Umayyad. Oh. Umayyad dynasty, because it goes, now caliphate has become hereditary, right? And not in the family of the Prophet, but in the Sufyanids, right? So Marwan, Abdul Malik, which was a very important caliph of these guys, and then the other caliphs. 705, so Al-Walid to 715, Suleiman to 717, Omar II, the pious Omar II from 717 to 720, then Yazid II, 720 to 724, then Hisham to 43, right? And then Walid II to 44, then two little ones, and then 744 to Marwan, which becomes the last of the Umayyad caliphs in the east. But my friends, we should mention that besides the other conquests, during the Umayyad period, we'll talk about these conquests, but one of them I should talk about before we go. One of these conquests is the conquest of Spain during a branch of the Umayyads. Go to Spain and conquer all of Spain, right? At 711 they go and conquer almost all of Spain, and they go actually to all as far as Paris and Tours, but they are defeated at the battle of Tours, and they cannot conquer France, right? Imagine what would have happened if they had conquered France, right? Anyway, so Spain comes to have close to 6 centuries, right, from 711 to say 1200s, right? Almost 5-6 centuries of Muslim rule, and we're going to talk about that later. And these are the Umayyads who ruled in Spain, right, and so on and so forth, right? These are the amirs. I'm sorry, you guys. These are the amirs as leaders, generals, and these are the caliphs, right? So this is the Umayyad Caliphate. A lot of things takes place during their caliphate, and we will get to that in the next session, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you again in our next lecture of this module. Thank you very much for listening.